Hi there everyone, it is day 3 of the International Broadcasting Convention here in Amsterdam. Standing next to me, the head of partnerships, or what's your title? Very similar here at Euronews. We've got plenty much coming up, but right now the top stories here on TICKER News.
3 cheers for His Majesty the King. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! 3.
The proclamation of King Charles III takes place in London as the new monarch is officially announced.
I now dedicate what remains to me of my life. I pray for the guidance and help of Almighty God.
And a life's dedication as King Charles follows his mother's path of naming himself as monarch for life. United in grief and standing together, the Prince and Princess of Wales step out together with the Sussexes to meet crowds gathered outside of Windsor Castles. And in other news, it is day 3, as we say, of the International Broadcasting Convention. We'll bring you all the action live right here on TICKER News. It is great to be with you wherever you're watching this Sunday. I'm Ahron Young from TICKER News. Our top story, the Queen's coffin will leave Balmoral later and be taken to Edinburgh on the first stage of its journey towards her funeral in London in just over a week's time. It comes after her son Charles was proclaimed King Charles III at a ceremony in London yesterday, televised for the very first time. He also approved the day of the Queen's funeral, which will be held Monday, the 19th of September, which of course is a bank holiday. Speaking before the Accession Council, the King says his mother's death had been an irreparable loss.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, it is my most sorrowful duty to announce to you the death of my beloved mother, the Queen. I know how deeply you, the entire nation, and I think I may say the whole world, sympathize with me in the irreparable loss we've all suffered. It is the greatest consolation to me to know of the sympathy expressed by so many to my sister and brothers, and that such overwhelming affection and support should be extended to our whole family in our loss.
Now take a look at these pictures. The King had just left Buckingham Palace, was heading down the Mall in London when he stopped, got out of the car, no one was expecting it, to meet with the thousands of well-wishers there to pay tribute to him and of course his late mother, the Queen. They've gathered there in London outside Buckingham Palace. Now at St James's Palace, Charles acknowledged this will be a job for him for life.
To confirm my willingness and intention to continue the tradition of surrendering the hereditary revenues, including the Crown Estate, to my government for the benefit of all, in return for the sovereign grant, which supports my official duties as head of state and head of nation. And in carrying out the heavy task that has been laid upon me, and to which I now dedicate what remains to me of my life, I pray for the guidance and help of Almighty God.
Then there was a surprise. 2 cars stopped outside of Windsor Castle. 4 people got out, and here they are. The new Prince and Princess of Wales, as well as the Sussexes, Harry and Meghan. Many of the Sunday newspaper front pages. There's one of them right there, talking about the togetherness of Prince William and Prince Harry, the brothers, and their wives, Catherine and Meghan, meeting crowds and looking at floral tributes outside of Windsor Castle. The Sunday Telegraph right there says the couples were reunited in sorrow, while the Sunday Mirror newspaper, meanwhile, says that William extended an olive branch to his brother, and the Sunday Times labelled it as somewhat of an awkward truce, but a truce nonetheless. As I say, and as you can see, we're broadcasting live from the International Broadcasting Convention in Amsterdam, day 3 of 4 today. Let's talk about the future of news in this new broadcast and streaming world we find ourselves in. For more, we're joined by Quentin Ankri, the head of project management at Euronews. Quentin, great to see you.
Great to see you, Ahron. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. It has been a really crazy few years, obviously, in the news business, in any business, of course. What have you noticed change?
Well, actually, as you know, first of all, I'd like to congratulate journalists, technicians, and newsrooms around the world for really the fantastic work that they have achieved over the past 2 years. We could really consider them as frontline workers. They did everything they could to provide us with fact-based information within the noise of social media, opinions and fake news.
Yeah, and coming under attack for fake news, as you say.
That's really the key point. And you know, Euronews, we operate in Western, Central and Eastern Europe, obviously in France, in Spain, Germany, but also in Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Serbia. And I can tell you something is that the media landscape did not change that much, I can tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
In what way?
In a way that maybe COVID and the pandemic were really just an accelerator for challenges that were already in front of us, that have been in front of us for the past 5-10 years. Maybe not only in the media industry, but in all around the world, such as remote production, distance work, and collaborations from distance.
I mentioned the word partnerships before. You do project management. They sound quite similar. Talk to us about the sorts of project management that you do.
Well, our vision at Euronews is to be able to build out fact-based, neutral newsrooms in every country in Europe. What we've been doing over the past 3 years is partnering with key entrepreneurs and media companies in Eastern and Central Europe to develop the Euronews brand and provide these audiences with fact-based information.
And what's the need, the interest been in fact-based information at a time where, if you have a look at the media landscape around the world, news channels have to pick a side, left-wing, right-wing, Donald Trump, or Biden as it may be, or many of the countries like RT in Russia that are pushing one story, or CGTN in China, for example. How does Euronews view its place and what it needs to do?
Ahron, you're really touching a big point, and as you can imagine, we've been discussing this in closed boardrooms, but also in open places such as the International Broadcasting Convention. What I can say is that obviously American, US-based audiences and European audiences could be compared, of course, but are also very different. Our audiences here in Europe are looking for a different type of information, which is not sided. And this is important. We're not looking for government-based information. We're not looking for opposition-based information. We're looking for something quite central. Of course, when you watch Euronews, the idea is for us to inform you quickly for all topics that are happening around the world. We don't expect you to stay with us 10 hours during the day. What we want is to give you short, fact-based information. And this might be the difference between other channels that actually operate a lot of talk shows, a lot of debates, a lot of opinion shows. This is not what we do. We focus on the facts.
Traditional broadcasters, and I'm familiar with the Euronews journey. I remember coming to Europe years and years ago, and there weren't any anchors at Euronews. It was one story playing after another, but in many different languages on different channels that you watched. You've kind of jazzed up the look of the channel. You've got presenters now. Everyone looks fabulous over at Euronews, I might add, for those who are watching. But in terms of how you deal with the changing landscape of, it's not just about broadcast anymore, it's about TikTok, it's about YouTube, it's about Facebook and Instagram. How does a broadcaster like Euronews deal with the new world?
Well, that's, first of all, I'm sure it will please everyone in Lyon and across the Euronews offices, everything you just said, so thank you, Ahron.
I am a media executive and I always start off with a compliment.
I love that, Ahron, thank you so much. But yes, the points that you're touching is that today, broadcasters or streamers or digital-first content producers must not think about platforms, they must think about content. Content is king, as it always has been. It is not digital first, it's content first. We must not think in terms of different platforms for publishing. We must think about how our content will be distributed across all these different platforms and reach audiences. I want you to stay tuned over the next 6 months at Euronews as we just entered a large-scale transformation.
Okay.
The first transformation you mentioned will be beefed up by obviously a new team that has just embarked on Euronews. So this is quite big news, and I'm proud to be able to share this here.
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. I mean, the other side, of course, becomes the revenue side. Whenever I walk into a room, the first question I get is, TICKER's great, how do you make it work? In this world of content everywhere, traditional broadcasters traditionally made traditional money from traditional advertising. That's all changed. 80% of advertising money is now sitting on YouTube and Facebook, not with the broadcasters like it used to be. Do you guys rely on advertising revenue? How does it work, and how do you make money in this new world?
Well, this is again a very strategic question. Of course, we do rely on advertising. Our advertising partners are key and strategic for us. But we have been developing, let's say, vertical brand safe environments over the past 2 years. So we just launched Euronews Travel, Euronews Next, Euronews Green, and Euronews Culture.
And you've just been in Spain, and now you're here. You could do Euronews Travel.
I could. Actually, we could do it together.
Let's host it together.
That would be
Perfect.
fantastic. But yes, Euronews has been developing, let's say, brand-safe environments for verticalized advertising opportunities, allowing our partners to safely deploy their content across these different environments. Of course, the Euronews brand remains a leader, remains a premium brand, premium news information source all across Europe, from Spain to Romania
and that term
and
you
through
use there,
Germany.
premium brand.
Yeah.
That's how you stay ahead, right? Because anyone can become a YouTuber these days. This whole place is full of people teaching people how to do everything, and you have to stay ahead of the pack. So premium, that's the way you do it, right?
Well, actually, when you look at European news, I think that we are touching problems that move away from the local, regional, or national issues. We look at information from a bold European angle that will provide our audience with a different view on what's going on. And it's really the core of Euronews. We provide audiences with all views.
You've been very good with your time. One last question.
Please, Ahron.
So we talk about where we've been the past 2 years. Where do you think we're going from a project management perspective? What's the trend that you're seeing at the moment?
I think that right now one of the key challenges is to be able to really unite the different newsrooms that we operate across Europe. I think that our audiences are looking for a differentiated product, and this is really what TICKER News has been working on with such great partners such as TICKER, for example.
Yeah.
At Euronews, we are embarking on facing these challenges as well. We have newsroom in Romania, in Bulgaria, in Albania, in Serbia, in Georgia, in Paris, in Brussels. Our idea is really to be able to unite everyone and providing our audiences onto all platforms with a differentiated news bulletin, with a differentiated digital news platforms for them to be able to make informed decisions.
And a different language as well.
Today, 17 languages.
Wow.
Yeah, 17 now.
Unbelievable.
17.
I'm barely doing okay with English. Quentin, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, that is the program for now. Thanks so much for your company, Quentin. Ankri there, the Head of Project Management at Euronews. I'm Ahron Young from TICKER News. See you soon.